Well. Harrison Bader is a New York Met making $10 million. He's been signed for 1 year and not impressed at all. But you know what? That's just in line with all the moves David Stern has made. Unimpressive move after unimpressive move after unimpressive move. So this move fits right in. I need you to tell me, what do you feel about this? Because I don't feel positive at all. I know 2024 doesn't look good. It really doesn't look good. And I'm upset for more reasons. I know what the long-term future, I know what David Stearns is trying to do. I know what Cohen is trying to do. But there are a couple of reasons why I'm upset and why I could really foresee Mets fans being upset. But first, before we get into Harrison Bader, before we get into all these reasons, I can't thank you enough. I really can't. First off, I want to continue to wish everyone a happy new year. I hope you have a wonderful and happy 2024. Just so you don't miss our videos, please continue to like and subscribe. We've made a lot of progress, tremendous growth within our first full year. I cannot thank you enough. Okay, so let's get into the thought process and what does this mean? What are the repercussions? So Met fans, a lot of new Mets fans have really kind of, especially if you're a Met fan in the last couple of years, there's been a lot of excitement, a lot of damn excitement about Steve Cohen buying the team, about how we're the richest franchise in Major League Baseball, about how at any given time we could sign any free agent we want. We can, and that naturally is going to enhance our odds at being competitive, at being able to make the playoffs. In turn, possibly even winning a World Series. We all know Steve Cohen made the proclamation that we were going to win the World Series within 3 to 5 years. Now, in the last few years, we've had, I would say, inept management, whether it was Epler, whether it was other people in the front office. We haven't made the right moves. Our roster, our payroll is in shambles. We're in hell right now, at least for 2024 with the Max Scherzer, Justin Verlander, and even to an extent that James McCann contract just lingering. It's about $60-70 million on the books, not to mention all the other dead weight and baggage, Marte being one of them. But, which really kind of bothers me about Harrison Bader, and like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, he's a very underwhelming player. He's not really going to support the offense at all. Yes, he can play defense, but this team is so far and away. If you're saying, hey, I want to improve a club defensively, you have to do so much more than just a Harrison Bader, all right? So if your thing is, I want to have the best defensive club, I want to have the best defensive outfield, well, you know what? You are way far off. Nibbo's not a defensive stud. Yes, he's gotten a lot better. Marte's, a very injury-prone guy. So just having one decent defender is not going to give you a superior outfield. All right. So that's not going to elevate the team in any way. And I don't want to get into the guy's war. The guy doesn't have a high career war, so he doesn't really do much in regards to winning, right? So in my opinion, this was not a winning move at all. Giving the guy $10 million, he is basically a placeholder. And what really kills me is you have a pretty decent core here. You have, obviously, Alonso. You have McNeil to a lesser extent, but you got Francisco Lindor, you got Kodai Senga, you got Edwin Diaz. These are guys in the upper echelon, very talented guys. And to just throw their prime years away of Alonso and Lindor, it just really doesn't make sense. And then I go back to David Stearns, who's supposed to be this mastermind, a guy who has all the talent in the world when it comes to being a president and running an organization. And I say, why can't we build in 2024, play the young kids, but why can't we add some pieces that enhance our chance of winning in 2024. Like, we should be able to do both. We should be able to, not sign any long-term guys that will block any of the young kids, but still field a competitive team for 2024. I mean, like, you're wasting the prime of all these players, like I just mentioned, and then you're sending a signal to free agents, like, really, what are we doing? What are we doing? Who's going to come to a team that, obviously their biggest acquisition over the offseason with Luis Severino, Harrison Bader. We just acquired Adrian Hauser, Tyrone Taylor, Yohan Ramirez, Trace Thompson, Cam Robinson, Michael Tompkin, all these guys that, Andre Scrub, all these guys I don't have any confidence in. I really don't. And it feels like any general manager, any president could have made these moves. They don't move the needle at all. And then you got some Mets fans, jumping up for joy, like, oh my God, Harrison Bader, he's a stud, defensively, he can run, he can play the outfield. I mean, who the heck cares when at the end of the day, your team is not getting better and you got to watch crap? You have to literally watch crap and get through it. We're pretty intelligent as Mets fans. We pay an arm and a leg when we go to Citi Field, so we expect to see a superior product, right? So you got all the fans going to the game. They're paying, the hard-earned money, and what are you going to be excited about? Right now in the lineup, you have Lindor and you got Alonso, right? You have the same mess with no protection right now. You have nobody protecting Pete in the lineup. It's not good. Yes, are you going to rely on the young kids stepping up? But I'd rather have more of a guarantee. Why not sign a veteran, throw a crap load of money at a JD Martinez, or even make Soler a 2-year contract offer? And you know what? That'll take pressure off the young kids so that they don't have to, Drew Gilbert, he doesn't have to step up and be the savior. He can, back up a DH in Soler, in terms of Vientos. And then you get, maybe somebody in the outfield. Maybe if you wanted to put a Turner at third base, take pressure off Beatty. These players take pressure off your youngsters. And you know what? In terms of developing, that's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing to sit behind somebody who's a talented professional who could produce, and in turn, your ball club could still win. Now, what does Harrison Bader really bring to the table? I mean, I've looked at his numbers, and honestly, they're not too impressive. Besides being like a defensive whiz, I mean, he doesn't bring any power to the table. He's not really a high average guy. He's a dink dunk type of hitter. He's not impressive at all. He's had 1 or 2 decent seasons where he hit around 15 home runs, but I don't really expect much from Bader at all. And besides, with the acquisition that we acquired from Milwaukee, Tyrone Taylor, I thought Tyrone Taylor was supposed to be the 4th outfielder. I thought he was going to be the 4th outfielder. But, now you got your 4th and your 5th outfielder, and you still don't have anybody to protect Pete in the lineup. I know I'm just complaining and I come off as negative, but I expect a lot. This is not Milwaukee. This is not KC. This is not Kansas City. This is New York City. This is New York City. Mets fans deserve a product they can be proud of. I mean, the thing about the Yankees, and I know us Mets fans, a lot of us don't really, I don't know, we don't really think of the Yankees organization in high regard. But to think about the Yankees organization, and in the past couple of years, they haven't been making all the right moves, but their goal every single year, their mission statement is World Series or bust. Even when they tried to reset in 2015, 2016, when they acquired Chapman, traded away Chapman, when they got Gleyber Torres, Clint Frazier, when they brought up Sanchez and Judge at that time, it was a quick rebuild, quick reset, because they knew that their fans, they're not going to tolerate a long-term rebuild. They're not. Even a year rebuild is a long rebuild, because you got to remember, we started rebuilding at the middle of 2023. I mean, that was unacceptable. That was unacceptable. The only reason why we were able to get away with that was because Steve Cohen, he spent a whole lot of money. He bought a lot of goodwill by spending over $400 million and going after everybody. And that's why when things didn't work out and we had to blow things up, we're like, okay, you know what? Steve Cohen did everything he could. He spent $400 million. All right, it didn't work out. At least he's going to trade these garbage players away. Scherzer, Verlander, they don't have a future with us. Let's trade them away. Let's get guys. Let's build a farm system. Even though we got to attach money to those contracts, at least we'll be buying prospects. So in a way, we deem Steve Cohen and we deem Billy Epler as being a bit creative and doing things different. Like, okay, they're buying prospects. How many teams have bought prospects at the deadline? And you know what? I don't really see that as a positive. I see that as, okay, you know what? We were lucky. We were fortunate that we have a billionaire that's able to salvage the trading of Verlander. And by salvaging it and sending money away, you're able to get a few decent prospects. But we didn't get any pitchers. We didn't get any guys who will help a rotation going forward. So what did we really do in terms of helping us for 2024? Nothing. We didn't do anything. In fact, with the Scherzer conversation, Scherzer was told the Mets aren't doing anything in terms of winning moves geared toward 2024. He was told we were punting on 2024, and it appears like we're right. And my thing is, it's just not acceptable. It's not appropriate. David Stearns has to step up. He has to be able to build for the future and win now. Build for the future and win now. And it doesn't really seem like these moves are moves that move the needle at all. I mean, even when we were under the Wilpons, we here and there we had signings and moves that moved the needle more than this. I mean, Cespedes, when we acquired Cespedes, this was better than any move this offseason. Even when we signed guys like Michael Kadire, in offseason when we signed Billy Wagner, K-Rod, I mean, we were able to acquire talent going back to Tommy Glavine, Pedro Martinez, obviously Carlos Beltran, Carlos Delgado. We made some moves under the Wilpons. I don't know. I just feel like I should be getting so much more out of my, paying David Stearns. I know he hasn't been in New York long. I know he's been used to running a ball club a certain way, but this guy's got to adapt. This is New York City now. You're going to have some, people who are very loyal to the team, and that whatever the Mets do, they'll rah-rah, cheerlead. Yeah, I see what the Mets are doing. There's pros, there's positives. But I'm not seeing any right now. I'm just seeing Stearns is more or less taking the easy route. He's making fill-in signings that any one of these GMs can make. He hasn't conducted any trade that I'm like, oh wow, that was amazing. Oh, I'm so glad we have Stearns, because Billy Epler couldn't have conducted that trade. Basically, if Steve Cohen went to Billy Epler and said, "Hey, Billy, we don't have a lot of money in the budget. I need you to make some low-level signings. This is all you have. All you have is $20 million." Billy Epler could have done this too. Any GM could have done what David Stearns has done. David Stearns has not done one move right now. Not done one move of significance. All right, if Luis Severino turns around and has a Cy Young award running year, or he's in the top 3, top 5 of Cy Young, okay, I will give David Stearns credit, because that's a guy that you picked out in a crop of a bunch of free agent pitchers, and he's a guy I wouldn't expect for him to be a top pitcher next year. So if he comes through, yeah, I'll give David Stearns a lot of credit. But we made too many low-level signings, and Bader doesn't move the needle at all. And he's just really almost adding to what we already have. We just got a 4th outfielder from Milwaukee. Yeah, this guy plays a little better defense, but who the hell cares? He does nothing else. And I don't even really want him in the lineup because he doesn't have any much offensive abilities. Pitchers would love to see this guy in a lineup. What does he really bring to the table? Nothing. If you're going to put him in the lineup, I'd rather see a Drew Gilbert. I'd rather see a Luis Angel Acuna. I'd rather see a Jet Williams. I don't want to see a Harrison Bader playing for $10 million. Come on, please, please. Yeah, $10 million isn't what it used to be 10, 20 years ago. But it's you're not acquiring talent. All these little mediocre contracts add up. I'd rather sign one or two decent players that are actually more proven. So that's my take. If you could give me your take, I appreciate it. We always get a lot of good stuff on our channel. If you're not part of the community and you made it this far, you have to join the family. Like and subscribe. I always say with the Mets, it can't get any worse, but it probably will. And this offseason, it has been horrendous thus far. Hopefully, we have a big move coming, but I wouldn't really hold my breath. All right, all have a great day. I will speak to you soon.